This podcast is a member of WildGamesProductions.com and D20Radio.com.
They came from the game table, dice bags in hand,
We have one brain that we share between us.
to talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
Well, Matt, you've done, 1,800 episodes of Radio Grognard on top of it?
Well, yeah, it's like I even did an extra one yesterday, so I wouldn't have to do it today, so I could do this. So it worked out. Hiya, folks. It is time for THACO's Hammer number 170. Aren't you lucky? I'm DM Glen. This is DM Brian.
Mm-hmm. Hey, folks, what's going on out there?
And our field agent, DM Full-On Gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation. How you doing?
He is just full of life. I like that.
Well, he's off the road, that's why.
Yeah.
No, I'm on the road.
Oh, you are? I thought you were at home base.
That was for the weekend. We're not on the weekend. I'm out on the road again.
Oh, okay. On
That's
the road.
So this
again.
is mobile recording.
Okay.
Yay.
I should not have issues with signal for a while yet.
Oh,
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, not,
Okay.
yeah, not like when, not like 169.
Yeah,
which
that
we
was
just
fun.
put out. So yeah,
Yes.
So
Thank you, Brad.
No, Keith.
Keith, thank
Yes.
you. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, and we will have him
we're
on the
gonna
show
be
too.
Yeah, we're going to be playing that game for a while where I can't remember his name. So
Okay.
anyway, let's go.
All hail the editor.
Let's go into hits and crits.
Well,
One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
so
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate.
Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits. How you doing, Brian? What's up?
I'm doing okay. Just doing the usual thing. My 4 jobs. I went to Lowell, Michigan, which is about 20 minutes east of Grand Rapids yesterday, for to go to a little arcade spot out there, and I had a fantastic time. I mean, this place is awesome. I mean, it's like the owner, he's only like 41 years old, but he's a child of the 80s, even though he was only a toddler during the 80s, or a young boy. And just the amount of 80s callbacks in this arcade is just, it blew my mind. I mean, he had this vinyl art piece on one back wall that was like this hodgepodge of like audio cassettes, VHS tapes, and Atari 2600 cartridges in this big picture. It was awesome. Then another spot where he was done sort of like a family living room, complete with the flowery couch and 2 TVs. One had a Nintendo Entertainment System hooked to it. The other one had an N64. Wow. And, just seeing people just sitting on the couch and playing the games, I'm like, oh, this is just great. It gets you right in the feels.
Nice.
And he had. Go ahead.
You should do it. You should do an episode of Confessions of an Arcade Addict on that.
I will. I'm going to. I mean, I'm going to be doing the rundown on it as soon as possible, and then I'm going to do the review right after that.
And folks, that's my not so subtle plug for Brian's other show.
Thank you. That avoids me mentioning it. Yes.
Yes.
But that's going along. I'm working on episode 49.
I don't know if you do this or not.
What's that?
But here's a suggestion. You ever think? Can you do field recordings?
I have. Oh yeah, that's my on the road segment.
Okay, so
where I'm in the car, either I'm going to a spot or I'm leaving a spot. I don't do it while I'm in the moment because I want to focus on what's around me.
Right.
And of course play the game. So it's kind of hard to do a recording and play the games at the same
Well,
time.
I know that, but you could find time to maybe the owner's there or something. You could interview them or something,
Yeah, I was thinking about doing it. I'm probably going to do that the second time I go out there, which will probably be sometime in the next, I'd say probably 4 to 6 months, because, I have to rent a car to drive out there because I don't want to put the miles on my car.
Gotcha.
And I just got the bill for it, which was like $142 for one day. Well, that's just because I only have 180 miles, that are free on the car, and then you pay 58 cents a mile after that, and I went almost 40 miles over. But it's no big deal. I mean, it was, in the end, it was worth it.
Yeah, I'm sure it would.
Yeah, as long as the place I go to is
rental deals or lease deals?
Rental. Yeah, it's basically it's a company called Zipcar, and they have you know about it, but basically it's a place.
Unlimited miles rentals are better economically than anything that gives you a cap.
I agree with you, but unfortunately around here all the car rental companies are closed on the weekends now.
Wow.
Because they make more money making people rent a car for an entire weekend than one day during the weekend. Mm-hmm. So and staffing issues, of course.
Right.
So that was my only alternative. So I just went with it. I mean, yeah, I would have if I had rented a car from say Hertz or Enterprise, I would have paid only $60 for the day, but I'll pay the extra. So
yeah,
because I don't want to worry about my the car I drive locally breaking down because I'm putting 220 miles on it. Because it's old and I just want to keep it around for a couple of years.
Well, my stepson has still got our GMC, and that's been to Dallas 3 times.
Yeah, jeez.
Among other seen the Cthulhu places. Beast on the road, so
I know.
I have no issues with miles.
Well, yeah, because there are plenty of parts for that car, and
there aren't.
There really?
Hell no, there aren't.
Really?
It's an '82 G body. I have to scrounge eBay and and scrap yards for parts now.
Really? You couldn't go to Rock Auto and get stuff for like that? Because
no.
Wow.
No.
That's crazy. I didn't know. I had no idea.
The headlight assembly that goes to the header panel that actually put the headlight in, they don't exist. They're not viable.
Wow. That's crazy.
And there is no OEM equivalent part that you can go get.
Wow.
You need to find somebody who has not run the front end into something, and the parts are not 40 years of rust old.
That's true.
Now I know why eBay's pushing their eBay Motors in these ads all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because buying a brand new car is a crazy thing nowadays because dealers have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 markups on new stuff.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, I know what my next new car is going to be.
What's that?
Mazda MX-5.
Okay.
Oh, I love that thing. That thing is a pleasure to drive.
Hey, as long as it, me, it's gets me from there to there and not much maintenance.
Right. Yeah. That's unfortunately that was what I thought was going to be the car I'm driving every day, but I just dropped $4,000 on it to make sure she's running just to get her around town, and I'm like, oh, I am going to baby you for the next 2 years and until I'm able to get a down payment together on a brand new car, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's the plan.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm good. Aside from that, just working at the arcade on Saturday nights, and the usual stuff.
Okay, well, it's better than getting drunk, I guess.
No, oh boy, no. There's a reason why I don't drink these days with all the stress I'm under. But go ahead.
Well, anyway, full on. What you doing? What you been doing?
Running laps on my new route area. They've got me back down in it working there, so I'm working the Carolinas and Georgia and stuff like that. So
Not a good place. Well, better place than up north. I mean, this
not
time,
right
this time
now.
of year.
It's warm right now, but half the roads have snow and half the roads don't. So just depends on the altitude.
Yeah.
Right.
I figured a little warmer it might do well. Anyway.
And he's closer to home base if he's only in the Carolinas and Georgia.
That's
he's not.
true.
He's not far from home.
I'm only an hour and a half from home at any given time, really. So
that works.
I can actually spend more time watching anime on a big screen instead of my phone, and possibly gaming. I haven't had a chance to do any yet, but still going to get into that for this year because it's anniversary year for Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Right.
And there's new stuff coming out for it, and of course there's the winter season of anime has just kicked off with some awesome content.
I showed a friend a couple pictures of us at North Texas back when you were still in the service and you didn't have your beard or anything, and they wanted to know how come I'm gaming with Ron Swanson.
Jeez. No, he doesn't look like Ron Swanson. No.
He did. He had the mustache and everything, just like.
Wow.
Well, that's all right. I think the guy's great. So
Right, but wow.
Okay, I could do Ron Burgundy instead.
You just grow the mustache out, until it's close to push broom status. Sure.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, by the way, quick round table question. How's everybody liking the Book of Boba Fett?
Haven't seen it.
Oh, too bad. You're missing out. This is a good one.
I'm still trying to catch up with this. I'm still trying to figure out how to find time for the second season of The Mandalorian.
Oh, you gotta see that. You gotta see that second season.
Called Sit Down and Press Play after you get off the phone with us.
Something like
that. Wish I could. Okay, what am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm doing. It's now. If you're missing out on Book of Boba Fett, you're missing out on Dances with Banthas. You're missing out on A Man Called Bantha. You're missing out on The Good, the Bantha, and the Ugly.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and a Wookiee that makes Chewbacca look like Richard Simmons.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
What am I doing? Gaming wise, doing the Thursday game with Matt, playing RC D&D. Monday I got the 5e Eberron game. If we ever once a month we do face to face with me running it. We got one more session to go to wrap it up, and then.
Well,
I will take a poll, but I'm pretty sure that I can go back to Hyperborea after that.
Yeah. Well, you've been talking about that the last few episodes where you're waiting for the new edition to come out.
Well, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm just going to grab the 2e book and I say, let's play until it comes out.
Yeah, which is what you probably should have done.
I could play right now. I got the PDFs.
Exactly.
You put down the PDFs for the Kickstarter backers, so I could do that, but I just don't want to look at it. I skimmed over them. I don't want to. It's one of those things where I want it in my hands first. Before I even look at them. I mean, it came with a new module, and I got that too, so I'm going to read over that. But that's about it. But I'm starting to come to the conclusion, yes, I like the Midderlands, and I probably end up running the Midderlands sometime in the future, but I think Hyperborea is going to be my go-to. Just because it fits so well with me.
Okay, well, that's kind of weird, but okay, because the Midderlands is more or less your creation.
No, it's not.
It's not?
It's Glenn Seal's creation.
Really?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm confused. I thought the Midderlands was that one campaign world that you designed.
No.
Okay.
No. That's Europe.
Okay.
And the Orange Coast.
Okay.
But I just love the way that game works, and I can come up with stuff for it. So, and what else I got? I got a couple side hustles right now. One, I'm doing some artwork for Luau for a supplement for the Dare Luck Club role-playing game. which is the Dare Luck Club. Think of the Goonies.
Okay, got it.
The Goonies with a smattering of Scooby-Doo.
Okay, I can see that.
And I'm just doing headers for his chapters,
Mm-hmm.
and he's paid me very well, and I'm happy. And now I just got to pump out the work.
Yeah.
The other side hustle is I'm reselling DVDs on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
I bought some guy's collection, about 150 plus DVDs, and I've got to move them.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks,
they've got to go.
Yeah, folks, they got to go. Go on eBay, look for Glenn Hallstrom. One word. Glenn Hallstrom, and I've got like 7 listings up. So check it out. I'm trying to get some money together. I'd like to have some money for the con. That'd be nice. What a concept, you know?
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
you know, I've been watching YouTube videos about it, and apparently DVDs and Blu-rays sell rather well.
Mm-hmm.
Still.
Yeah, well, especially in this climate where a lot of people are staying home, and
Right.
once they get done with their favorite streaming service, they watch everything that they want to watch, they'll go back to DVDs. I'm still waiting for well, you notice that a lot of that, like Amazon, a lot of places, they're starting to sell DVD and VHS combos again.
Really?
Yes. So I'm glad I never got rid of my VHS tapes.
I did. I got rid of my VHS tapes a long time ago.
Can't do it. Can't do it, Sally.
I can't. No, I can't. I'm sorry.
Boxes of them, man.
I'm sorry. DVDs take up enough room. You think I want something bulky like a VHS tape?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just for me, for all the stuff that I've recorded ever since I got my first VCR in 1988, I think. You know, ever since then, I'm like, no, I can't get rid of it. I still have all my Star Trek Next Generation episodes, my Deep Space Nine episodes.
I don't have any of that
stuff.
I don't. I used to put like 3 movies on a tape and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and my old roommate got all our MST3K tapes. We had like 20 volumes of them that we taped off of Comedy Central.
Right.
You know, all the Joel stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he got them. That's okay. Fine, you get them. That's all right. I've got them on my hard drive.
Right.
Don't worry about it. You know.
Right. Yeah,
and you know, you can always go on like Tubi or YouTube. Hell, you can find MST3K all day on YouTube.
Well, actually, they're streaming on Twitch now too.
Oh, that's what I heard. They got a channel on there.
Yes, they do. I noticed that it comes up on my suggested watches every so often. And I watch for a little while, then I'm like, I think I've outgrown this.
Well, I haven't. So
it's
okay.
I
like going on Tubi because they have that. They also have riff tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a whole bunch of riff tracks too.
Yeah. They actually have riff tracks on Twitch too.
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty awesome.
They redid some of the MST3K episodes, and actually a couple of them turned out better.
Good.
You know, and they dared to do Plan 9, which MST3K never did.
What? Really?
Yeah.
MST, that blows my mind because
MST3K, they said they didn't want to touch it.
That's crazy.
They said they couldn't do it justice, and Riff Tracks did. In fact, Riff Tracks did a live one on that. That was their first live show.
You would think that would be the perfect movie for MST3K. That's disappointing, actually.
I mean, the first 3 live shows were Plan 9, Manos: The Hands of Fate, and Reefer Madness.
See? Absolutely fearless. Awesome.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I love their live shows. I mean, their regular stuff is good, but their live shows, hilarious. Anyway, that's me. Let's do some emails.
Okay, we got one brand new one from a new emailer to the show. His name is DM Saxius.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. Well, his real name's Oscar, but he wants to be referred to as DM Saxius, so that's what we'll do.
Not DM Ballsack?
No.
Okay.
May he rest in peace. Anyway, sorry, I'm thinking of Guar. Sorry, no, that was Odorous that died. I'm sorry. Okay, he says, greetings, Hammerlords. I'll get right to the point. This show is awesome. Okay.
Can't argue with that.
I'm willing to end it right there, but he's got more to say.
Let's go to the next
I will accept your objective praise and...
Yes, exactly. Okay, he says, everyone contributes fantastically to the show. I always learn a thing or two from each episode. I appreciate the wisdom, inspiration, and enthusiasm that you all have.
See, we're doing something
Which
wrong
one of us
there.
is which?
Yeah.
Who's wisdom, who's enthusiasm, and who's...
Your enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm. Glenn is wisdom. I'm probably inspiration. Probably.
Give me a lot of
what
credit, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm giving you praise for your years.
Give me, I know.
Yes, age before beauty.
Exactly.
Give me, I know.
Okay. To continue, I'll try and keep this short and focus on the most important thing. You. He actually underlined that. Okay. He says, your episode on the Death Knight was so inspiring, I got the core books. If a game had such an awesome monster, I needed to learn the system because I had to make an adventure about a Death Knight. Okay.
Of course.
God, Death Knight, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time
That was
ago.
back in the 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Full-on Gamer's enthusiasm for the player's option books made me get them, and I've cannibalized them for parts. They're great.
That's what you do with them.
It's exactly what you do with them. They're great to me for their modular and optional add-ons, which I can bring in to suit what I envision. Your appraisal of the other AD&D settings got me curious myself, and I've gone out to get my own copies to learn more. I always felt that you were fair from your point of view and your combined experiences. He's probably talking about when we kind of did a number on Dark Sun. We still get crap for that.
Really?
Yeah. Well, all three of us kind of, Full On was more neutral in his outlook, and and Corey was. I mean, I basically said it's like if I want to play D&D survivalist, I'll play it another way in another system. I want to have actual rewards for survival and actual keeping my character alive, just more than just the reward being, oh, your character's alive, he gets
this
to
is
fight.
why I don't like this is why I don't like the zombie apocalypse stuff, because that's all it is.
Well, that, and I think it's all played out anyway. Let's see. Oh, sorry.
But as far as Dark Sun goes, it's an interesting concept, but I already play Gamma World.
Right.
And Mutant Future. Same thing, only a little more modern. Anyway.
Right. Yeah, I get you. Okay. He says, there are many other things to add in, but those are the three big ones for me. I appreciate the wisdom, and I always take what you say with a pinch of salt, as I have my style and you have yours, though it's great to hear your notes. I really want to thank you. Your podcast has really inspired me to look back on the roots of D&D. I found some amazing things which improved my DM style, and more importantly, it helped me make solid friends from the games I've run. Can you pass on my thanks to Corey? His love for the Wand of Chromatic Orb made it into one of my games with the expected chaos, plus my current campaign has Grell as an encroaching danger. Jeez, he has been listening. Let's see.
I'm wondering if Corey still. I was wondering if Corey ever worked a Wand of Chromatic Orbs in his game. He was so hepped up on that.
Oh yeah, he was for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he has. Let's see. Which reminds me, I emailed Corey because I want him to design the logo for my own podcast, and I've got ideas for T-shirts already, but we'll come back to that another time. To continue. Hope it wasn't too long. Just wanted to give you all praise for the great work you've done, and to let you know you've inspired at least one person to get into 2nd edition. It's awesome. I love it, and I want to play it as much as possible. Please keep up the great work. I'm enjoying the podcast immensely.
Thank you.
Last part of the email doesn't need to be read in the show. Well, too bad. I'm going to read it. I'd just like to ask if Brian can share his martial arts class, and if Full On Gamer can share the murder hole, if you're both okay with sharing your work. If they are on the OSR forum, just direct me and I'll get it downloaded. And best regards, Oscar, a.k.a. DM Saxius.
Thank you, Oscar. Mm-hmm. Now, why can't we get that kind of praise on iTunes?
Yeah, because
that's the only reason I have iTunes on my computer, just so I could read the comments on our shit.
This is a can of worms we do not want to open during our recordings. We both know why. We both know why. You know, all three of us know why, and we will leave it at that, because I don't want to get on a rant. I've got less than an hour to record this show. So...
Okay.
So, you know, there is a reason for that, and we all know what the reason is, and we will just leave that alone.
Tell me after the show, because I don't remember.
Okay, I will. Okay.
In reward for your glorious and energetic and praiseful response to our show, let's give you another concept to think about. Instead of a wand of chromatic orbs, let's rethink a magic item and say, instead of the 10 rings, you can make a single item, which is 10 rings to wear, or a necklace of 10 rings that gets you all of your chromatic orbs. You pull them off and throw them, so you're combining rings, the wand, and the necklace of fireballs.
I was going to say,
just turn it into a chromatic orb item.
Somebody's seen Shang-Chi recently.
That sounded like a variation on the fireball necklace, yeah.
Yes. So you just fuse the two, flip it over, and turn it into another thing, and that is how you get creative magic items in your display.
Yep, that's true.
Cool. You got any more emails?
No, that's all we got for now.
That's enough.
That is enough. We got massive praise. That's good.
That'll keep me going for next week. So
there you go.
Thank you, folks. If you want to send us stuff, do so. THACOshammer@gmail.com. And as soon as they send me $1 million, I'll be happy. Oh no, that's just a random thought.
Call in and leave us a voicemail.
There, you can
actually be heard on our show.
Yep.
That's right.
Number is 405-806-0555.
I was going to let him guess.
Nah, we don't do that.
Okay, fine. I guess we'll just move on then to Rule 0. Rule 0. Okay, what do we got? Effects in combat. How do you handle them? That's kind of a wide net. What are we talking about here?
Anything. Effects from fireballs, lightning bolts, acid, just regular combat.
Well, fireball's easy. Everybody dies.
Well, some don't.
Well, side effects from spell effects are something you don't necessarily have to get into. There are games that you can do it with, and there are games that you can't. The rules lawyer is going to get picky if you start checking the box on all the different things that could go wrong and just say, okay, the environment is affected this way, and now we're burning down the forest. Because it's supposed to be a flashbang that doesn't leave persistent fires.
Yes.
Although it can. And when you do that, you start getting into things like the item saving throws and stuff like that, where if an individual fails, now all their stuff has to start saving, and that's when you can start having things melted by acid, things ruptured by lightning, things catching fire on their own, save versus magical fire, save versus magical lightning, whatever, all those different things. That's just, you're getting into spell effects is they may or may not fly depending on your group. Other effects that you should be more concerned with managing in your game, and again, your mileage may vary depending on how realistic your gameplay needs to be. And again, you can dip into things like the player's option, combat and tactic, because it goes well into this for environmental effects. You can go into classic documents like the Wilderness Survival Guide and the Dungeoneer Survival Guide. You can go into the back of the first edition DMG. They have lots of different takes on the environment and how it can affect your gameplay. We're talking about something as simple as lighting. Is it light? Is it dark? Do you have candlelight? How much visibility? Things like that. What it can do for the combat environment. Footing. Is it slick? Is it hazardous? Is it dangerous? Is it soupy? Is it up to your ankles in mud? Is it up to your knees in swamp? Is it up to your waist? Are you fighting in water? Are you fighting in snow? All those different environmental effects. Is it 130 degrees in the Anarak Desert? Is it negative 50 degrees at the top of the frozen peaks? These are the things that you'll want to look into, but generally only if they're going to be a significant portion of a given encounter, not something just to track your daily exposure to, rainstorms. and whether your armor's rusting off your body or not.
Right.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, because some DMs can be rather anal retentive
that's
that
right.
way.
And as far as effects in the field go, Fireball's a good catch-all, but if you really want to target that paladin in the plate, that's what Lightning Bolt is for.
Yep. I mean,
it's metal.
Yeah, if you're going to go that far, that's when your players are going to start squawking. Because
Don't cast Fireball at the paladin. They have Dispel Magic. You cast Greets on the floor on his feet, which won't be affected.
True.
You say you don't. You mean I can't hit him with a lightning bolt?
Sure, you could. He's just
you
remember.
May or may not.
Yeah, if he's got his holy sword, then there's like a 50% chance it won't work. And even if it gets through to him, he still gets +2 on his saves.
Okay, well, melts acid arrows then. Boom, boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
same thing. That's the same thing. However, if you drop a wall of iron on him, that he doesn't get to resist.
Then there's that. Yeah.
Environment, you go around magic resistance by affecting the environment.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You know what I like to do? This is one of my favorite things to do, is when I'm setting up a dungeon, I'm prepping, I'm setting up a dungeon, I love having dungeons that have already had people through them.
Mm-hmm.
And the player characters come across like magical effects that happened at the time. Like there's one room with a wall that you can see in the other room because it's melted because somebody millennia ago cast rock to mud on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's got like a pyroclastic flow to it.
Yeah, and all these residual effects from magic that you don't know how long they're going to last.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking residual effects here, not like, I hit him with a magic missile or something like that.
Right, I got you.
This is a reason for your people who have the skill spellcraft to make spellcraft checks.
Yep.
Now, why is the last 120 10-foot by 10-foot squares of the dungeon blackened by fire? Oh, that's because someone took a fireball indoors.
That's right.
Or what are all these zigzag spots of burnt, shattered stone from here to here? Oh, that's someone playing, snooker with a lightning bolt to get it around a corner.
Yep. Or a big cave with 3/4 of the treasure gone and most of it is melted together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then there's that.
Big old like you got to pry it out and just haul it out that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they fought a dragon and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, because there are always residual effects when it comes to those major kind of battles. Even if go ahead.
I'm going to say a lot of newer GMs don't think about that.
No, well,
residual effects are fun. In fact, I just got the subject of my next Radio Grognard now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but there you go. See, yeah, we indirectly inspire you, Glenn. See,
that's right.
Yeah, so there we go. I'm inspiration. You're wisdom. You have the wisdom to use that in your own podcast.
There we go.
But I have the enthusiasm to remember that if your dungeon does not have carrion crawlers and gelatinous cubes pulling dungeon Roomba for you, then you're going to have corpses lying around that might have rock grubs.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Oh, God, rock grubs. Anyway, but narrowing the focus back down to combat, I mean,
right.
The only time I think... And this was when Spells and Magic came out with critical hits for spells, which is which only come into effect if you brick your save. It's not that you fail your save if you brick it. If you roll a 1 on your saving throw.
Yeah, I mean really bad.
Really bad. And it's like, okay, make a save for another save
versus
magic.
Wait. You roll a 20.
No. If you roll a 20, you save. You roll a 20, you save. If you roll a 1, you brick it. Yeah.
Because if you rolled a 20 on your stat rolls, that'd be bad.
Yeah. Your stat rolls are low, saving throws in combat is high. But anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, I look through Spells and Magic, and some of those effects from critical hits from spells are absolutely nasty. They have it versus fire, versus lightning, versus force. Of course, they have, if you have, say, you're using, Warden, Cane, and Sword on somebody, get a critical hit with that, I mean, but, yeah, some of them are almost Middle-earth role-playing level of savage.
Oh, yes. I love those Iron Crown tables. And you can also get the same general effect as another gameplay item that came out is the critical hit deck and the spell critical hit deck. Those are also some really good, fun items just to throw into your gameplay if you're so inclined. For whatever system you use for determining the need for a critical hit system, there's lots of them out there. And then just the deck of cards that they manufactured for just combat and melee, all those different things. And the other one is also spell effects. And then, of course, throw a little bit of DM judgment into the interpretation of the content of the cards to make them fit. Otherwise, you get some really weird results. You could also have fun and just say, I will take the literal statement and I will use it. I don't care if I was casting Firefinger. It pierces both eardrums.
Well, and also
simultaneously.
Well, also as a DM, you take one of the cardinal rules of a comedian and read the room. You start throwing these things in there, and your players are getting more and more resentful because they're getting borked by these things. Take it out. Remember, unhappy players make for a game that just basically falls apart. Remember that.
True.
You're not
the biggest thing to diffuse that is to make sure that it goes both ways. If you're using it, the players need to have access to it and benefit from it as well.
I agree.
It can't just be a one-sided screws you.
That's right. That's right. It goes both ways. And, also players should read the room when encounters start, when battle starts.
Yeah.
See what the flow of the battle is like and then adapt.
Well, that's adventuring 101.
Yeah, but what I'm saying here is like maybe you have a character with a high enough intelligence, or even metagame the player, that has
DMs metagaming a player. The hell you say?
Yes, but what I'm saying is, if the character is familiar with spell effects, after effects,
right?
He can cast something saying, okay, it's not going to have, it's not going to do much now, but, the side effect is going to really hurt.
Goblin Slayer. Never mind.
Yeah.
Which you still need to watch.
Yes.
It's like, it's like, what did you do that for? It was just a magic missile. Wait for it.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
we go. He exploded.
And that's the thing. Like a critical effect with a magic missile spell is actually in Spells and Magic. And I'm like, that is making a first level spell which only does 2 to 5. That makes it absolutely deadly.
I would.
And that's a non-save spell too. So go ahead.
I would rule that a magic missile, say, if you were in a room and you were fighting opponents who were near, say, I don't know, stuff that explodes. I would say a magic missile would set them off.
Which is interesting.
Now that's. I'm not saying you should have black powder in your world, because there's other stuff that can explode too. Besides black powder.
I've attacked fully loaded wands of fireballs with magic missiles, and the DM allowed it. And it had a, retributive strike similar effect of discharging everything at once.
True. They had
behind a wall of force when you do this.
Yeah.
A friend of mine had kamikaze kobolds who would leap in front of a party with like a wand of wonder and break it in half.
Jeez. Oh, okay. I'm not getting on that rant. I'm going to leave that right where it is.
But like I said, you want to see. Remember that thing that meme you see where a diagram of how to have an arrow with a portable hole being shot into a.
That thing. Oh, don't. Let's not talk about that.
Arrows of Annihilation. Yes, those are awesome.
Same thing. It's residual effect. If you can get a residual effect, magical effect on battle to work for you, you're like halfway ahead of the game.
No, you don't get to bring modern science into D&D. No.
Not everybody's after a dust explosion. Sometimes we just know enough to throw the shrunken boulders at the person who dispels magic or our redwood arrows. It works.
Yeah, it does work. That's fine. This
is why that's one of my favorite first level spells as a wizard is enlarge. I've thrown a cauldron of hot oil down from a wall in a castle and hit enlarge, so it would cover more area.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense.
That kind of thing.
Boiling oil's nasty, but okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, throwing pebbles at somebody and enlarging them to boulders. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. See, the problem I have with that is the timing. That's the only problem I have with that whole thing, because Galinos, I've heard that story multiple times from multiple players where they do that. I'm like, how do you do that? There's
you have a GM
you
who lets
have a
you
held
do.
action,
yeah.
And even if you don't, you can make it happen by doing things within the rules, such as player B is going to hold his action, dispel magic, until player A throws the shrunken boulder.
True.
Okay. I know. I mean, there's a way. I know there's a way, but yeah, it's like, come on, guys.
Other DMs get really, really snarky about, I'm going to make it go on initiative order, and if you didn't win the initiative, and you're doing individual initiatives, you shall not get that away with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. I will still screw you. I have ways to do that. Don't make me get angry at you.
I saw a Facebook meme the other day where it had a photo of this big boulder sitting in the middle of a highway in a rural area or whatever, and the guy just said, "I'll bet you $10 there's a coyote under there."
That's funny.
Because it looked just like, one of the boulders.
Yeah, one of those big boulders that would just, fall on him. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, residual effects. There's some ideas for you guys. THACOshammer@gmail.com. Oh, let's go on to Snipe Hunt. We got to do a Snipe Hunt.
Yes, we do.
If you only had a living brain.
What do you think? Escaped gorilla?
Listen, you're making enough noise to wake up the dead.
I don't have to wake him up. He's up.
It's time for a Snipe Hunt.
Snipe Hunt. Where spider?
Yep.
Okay, we're getting down to the bottom of the barrel here.
Actually, we're literally almost done with lycanthropes, to be honest. I've gone through the whole list. This is one of the last ones.
Okay.
All right. So, the picture that they have, I mean, I'm not sure who did the art, but it's rather creepy. But here it goes. Okay. Weird spiders. Climate, terrain, it's either forest or urban settings. Frequency very rare. Organization solitary. Activity cycle is any. Diet is carnivore, of course. Intelligence is average. Alignment is neutral evil.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I eat everything.
Yeah. Everything everything made of meat, that is. Let's see. Number appearing 1, AC 4. Movement rate is 12. 18 in webs. Hit dice 5+5. 1 attack per round with a THACO of 14. I think that's a typo. That should be 15. Let's see. Actually, it probably should be 13 just because of the +5, but I'm getting into the weeds there. Never mind. Damage.
You are.
Yeah, damage is 1 to 12 with an additional 1 to 4. Special attack of poison. Special defenses, silver, and magical weapons to hit. Just typical of every lycanthrope. Morale is steady. XP value 650. Okay. Lycanthropic spiders are extremely rare. The Curse of Lycanthropy spell only invokes mammalian forms, not insects or arachnids. Regardless of their true origin, there exist humans who can assume the alternate form of a huge spider, and also a monstrous hybrid shape mixing both human and arachnid attributes. Okay, turns into a minor version of a Drider. Okay, got it.
He's the Scorpion King as a spider.
Yeah, no kidding, right? In human form, there's often little to physically differentiate a were-spider from his or her fellows, although some possess long, spindly fingers, good for grasping and climbing. When completely transformed, the were-spider's body is suspended 6 feet above the ground by 8 legs of sinister aspect. Wow, this guy's getting poetic here. From 3 to 8 dull black eyes are clustered above a vicious mandible diameter dark body. Oh, wait a minute. A vicious mandible maw designed for carnivorous eating. The bulk of its 8-foot diameter dark body is a bloated sac covered with a coarse black fur. The hybrid form is a weir spider that can vary from manifestation to manifestation. Well, that's interesting. Very few look normal, but can manifest some spider-like abilities, but most who take on the hybrid form of these creatures grow 3 or more spidery eyes on their human heads, while their mouths become a drooling set of mandibular monstrosities. Yeah, this guy's getting really poetic. Mandibular monstrosities? Okay.
Yeah, but the picture it conjures.
Yeah, the picture that's actually on in this entry is really interesting. Combat. Okay. The types of attacks employed by a weir spider depend upon its particular manifestation. In human form, these lycanthropes utilize standard weapons to inflict damage. Often these weapons have been pre-treated with the weir spider's own poison, either type A or type F. Type A, if I remember, is save versus poison or take 15 points of damage.
Right.
And type F is save or die. Let's see. Yep, and here it is right here. Okay. In hybrid form, weir spiders have a poisonous bite. Type A, save versus poison, or take 15 points of damage within 15 minutes. So it's like 1 point of damage per minute. Ooh, that's torturous.
Ow.
They can cling to walls and ceilings like a normal spider and can create webbing from spinnerets at a rate of 1 foot per round. Victims, when caught in the web, require 1 round per point of their strength below 19 to break free. It's just like if they use a web spell. Let's see. In a hybrid form, the strength of the weir spider is greatly enhanced, such that those fighting weaponless still inflict 1 to 4 hit points from a blow or a bite, and receive a plus 2 bonus to hit and plus 4 damage bonus if using weapons. Yeah. When completely transformed into a spider, these creatures can move at a rate of 18 on webs of their own manufacture. The webs of a weir spider spins in full spider form and are stronger than the hybrid version. A successful Benbar lift gates roll is required regardless of strength to break free. Monsters without strength ratings use a saving throw versus paralysis if larger than man size, at -2 if man size or smaller. Their bites do 1 to 12 hit points of damage, and they secrete type F poison, which is save versus poison or die immediately. I had it right. Cool. Those who are bitten successfully save versus poison from a weir spider's bite, whether in hybrid or spider form, are at risk of being injected with the lycanthropic eggs.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how they reproduce. Okay, cool. Weir spiders can be harmed by only silver or +1 or better magical weapons. Any wound inflicted by another type of weapon knits as quickly as it was inflicted, with briefly visible web-like sutures. Wow, there's an image for you. Okay, habitat and society. Weir spiders tend to live as solitary hunters of either woodlands or urbanscapes. In woodlands, their homes are often suspended high up in the boles of a large tree, securely lashed in place with sturdy web lines. The weir spider nightly checks a series of traps, which are huge spider webs, that it has set in strategic places within the forest. For the most part, only woodland animals are caught in these traps. The occasional human caught within the sticky strands is either kept or released, according to the wiles of the particular weir spider. Okay, so it could have slaves. Okay, I'm cool with that. In cities, I should say, solitary weir spiders hunt in the same fashion as their woodland counterparts. However, they specifically prey on humans. Those who penetrate these creatures' homes find bewebbed halls containing cocooned humans hung for curing. How about that? Okay, the ecology. Those who survive a weir spider's poison stand a 30% chance to be injected with a very small egg from the weir spider's egg glands, which are located in its mouth. These eggs are undetectable without a specific probe of the injury. If allowed a 2-week gestation period, the egg hatches, bursting within the flesh of its victim. This releases a viscous ichor that quickly permeates the victim's blood. Another weir spider has just been born. Those so afflicted may not at first realize their condition, but stand a 1% cumulative chance per day thereafter to spontaneously transform. After this often traumatic experience, the were-spider is able to control its transformation between human and spider forms.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I know the first thing I thought of.
Which was?
Another movie.
Okay, what movie was that?
Full on will probably know that. The Other Mother. You ever seen Coraline?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've only seen bits and pieces of Coraline, but I do remember that. There were a lot of people.
The Other Mother eventually turns into something like a spider, even with a web.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people were thinking there were a lot of D&D parallels in that movie.
Oh, God, there's so many theory videos on YouTube, you wouldn't even believe it. I love the movie, but yeah. Anyway, you're right. Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense.
There are quite a few cinematic and animatic references to spider beings, spider morphing beings, and hybrids of all stripes.
That's right.
From the hilarious to the ecchi.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and everything in between.
It depends on what level of kink you want to explore.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Especially when you go down the anime chambers.
Yes.
Tread with caution if you have sensibilities.
Yeah, if you have delicate sensibilities, do not go in this direction.
Or phobias.
Yeah.
I would not use this monster lightly.
No. I agree.
This is the kind of monster you can build an adventure around.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you could.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
You can also throw a red herring in by inserting one, as a encounterable extra hazard if people want to go off the beaten path when they're dealing with ettercaps, when they're dealing with drow and driders, when they're dealing with arania. Anywhere you get into the realms of the intelligent arachnoids, you can get some very treacherous things. And it's like, hey, you're on the menu when discussing. It's like messing with dragons. You're crunchy and good with ketchup. And the only nice thing we can say is that they prefer to take you alive because they want their food fresh. There is a chance of rescue.
Yeah.
There is, and I would not be surprised if there was a couple of them on the Isle of Dread. Because they had the Arania, though.
Yeah, the Arania,
Arania.
Yep, spellcasting spiders. But yeah, I mean,
let's make a were Arania there. So you've also got the.
All that takes is giving someone class. All that takes is giving a monster class levels. Yeah. All hail 3E for that. And
so you got a were-spider that can cast spells.
Were-spider monk.
Oh god, yeah, spider style, yeah. But yeah, I mean,
several boots to the head.
More like boots through your body. Never mind that. One of the things that I was thinking while I was reading this description was every so often, not very often, once every 100, couple 100,000 years, something like that, Lolth actually will recruit someone who is human. And guess what happens to you if you have Lolth's favor? This isn't a failure thing. This is like, okay,
something you don't want.
She will inflict you with were-spider lycanthropy, and that's another way to get your class levels, because you already have them before you're transformed into a were-spider.
Well, you're supposed to lose them when you become a lycanthrope, but they can always be gained back.
Nah, I don't. I don't.
Or,
I disagree.
Again, it all depends on if you're applying a template or if you are doing a certain edition rules as written.
Right.
And that's the reason why editions change their plans, because too many juicy things came up with what if I want to do this instead? And this is an example of one of those very, very dangerous things that you can have. And yeah, you can, and again, read the room, make sure you don't have any particularly arachnophobic players at your table, because that can have effects.
Yes, it can. You don't want to trigger somebody's phobia, because that will bring the game to a screaming halt. And that's just the truth.
The good news is it's easy to get miniatures. You ain't even got to go to a game store. You can go down to the dollar store and pick up some extra Halloween decorations, and you've got things covered.
Yeah. Trust me, I dated someone who had a severe case of arachnophobia. Let me tell you something. This person was so afraid of spiders that she actually saw one in her bedroom, and she decided to climb up on the dresser by pulling the drawers out and getting on the drawers and climbing up to the ceiling to kill it, except she got maybe halfway up, and one of the drawers broke, and she fell on the floor and broke her ankle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Not a good way to do it.
No, but that's how afraid of spiders she was.
Okay.
But
well, these should be fun in any scenario, but like I said, they're heavy hitters, so you don't like just, let's have a room with a were spider in it. No. You plan it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got as we were talking, I'm coming up with ideas like, in the Forgotten Realms, there's like this place called the Spider Wood, and I'm just like, this place is going to have spiders of every stripe and size, from the common spider, the common large spider, to huge, to giant, to jungle spiders, which are the dangerous ones, to Arania, to, they're going to be driders in there,
Trapdoor spiders,
yeah, there'll be weird spiders in there, and it's like, if you go in there, you're gonna have problems. If anything, and the reason why such a place would come to be, would be a staging area for Drow to make their surface raids, because the spiders aren't going to bother the Drow. If anything, they're gonna be like, oh, there's a cute little furred spider over there, pet, all praise to Lolth, and keep going until you go to the nearest elven or human settlement to have your fun, things like that.
And of course, it is really only a generally overwhelming bias that designates these as necessarily evil creatures. In truth, you could always lean a little more into the neutral if you want to, because they really are just things out living their life and eating things, so they don't necessarily have to be evil. Or you can have one that, especially with the intelligent ones, they can get their own mindset, and you don't necessarily have to have evil, or those that act on evil, or those that might endure an alignment shift. So there are examples of this in other media where it's the wonderful romance or the tragic romance that breaks out with a were spider of whatever stripe. Asian culture is really big on these, and they have some very excellent examples. Everything from Demon City to Dorororo.
That's what I've got to look forward to. Okay.
Well,
and they swing on both ends of the Demon Slayer as well. All different flavors of the example that run through the gamut.
They swing both ways. Okay.
But
had to do it.
Yeah.
But anyway, these are a lot of fun, folks. You got to try them out. And if you do, tell us about it at thacoshammer@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
How about that?
Yep.
And now for our final segment, Brainstorm.
Now you tell me what you know.
Only the infinity of the depths of a man's mind can really tell the story.
What are you, a wizard, a genius?
Dear Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. We're going to talk about
the Church of Calamitous Intent and Disastrous Outcomes.
Okay.
So in other words, why are evil churches operating openly?
Well,
it's all a matter of perspective.
Yes, quite the perspective.
In pantheonic systems, like most D&D games are, you've got all the different functions of culture, society, life, whatever, represented one way or another. And, I mean, you can look at your Hyboria. You've got the Church of Set as towers in downtown, and they know it's the Church of Set. It's not like the secret Cthulian people in their little underwater on the dockside cult churches.
In the first movie,
open practice. You know, why allow that? Because, for many reasons. There are those that have to. There are those that will always have the need to appeal. One, if you're in a system where you know the gods are there, you've got to keep the gods happy, preferably to keep them off your back. So there are going to be those who offer their offerings up to the gods of storms, so they don't have their ships sunk. There are those that offer their things up to the god of plagues to say, please let the plagues not come. You know, death god is a great example. So many people have death gods that they consider evil, but death is neutral. Death is good. Death is a part of life.
It is supposed to be.
There's a great anime out where you have the faraway paladin, where they have a different sect between the death god and reincarnation god versus the undeath god.
You know what's funny?
They are in direct opposition to each other.
You know, some of the purists, some of the Greek myth purists had an issue when Disney made Hercules and made Hades the bad guy. But if you look at it, he's just doing his job. He's the bad guy because he has a problem with Zeus that has nothing to do with being the god of death.
Yeah, that's what that was a nice subtext to that movie. By the way,
he's resentful.
Like half the time, the villain in the Greek god myths is Hera.
Yeah,
she is mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What's her name in the original Clash of the Titans? Did not do
Clash of the Titans. Yeah. Maggie Smith.
Yeah, Maggie Smith. She did not quite go. She did not quite cover how vicious and nasty and vindictive Hera really was. But she did a decent job. Just not as good enough. Not good enough in my opinion, but good.
Bad enough for people to look at Zeus and go, "You married her?"
Yeah, bad. Well, Zeus always makes bad choices when it comes to women. Obviously,
That's true.
I mean, didn't DM Julie say, the crack of dawn wasn't safe around Zeus? You know.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway, so
that's Apollo's crack. So it's nothing.
As the parents
nothing
say,
is safe around Zeus.
He lets the little head think for the big head. That's
exactly. That's always been his problem, and Hercules being the son of Zeus, he has a little bit of that issue too. But anyway, my whole thing is that using Folon's example of that city in Conan the Barbarian where Set is worshipped, where priests of Set are open, that is the city that they have taken over. You know, they are the dominant religion in that city, if not that region. So, yes, they can walk around unmolested, and people will scurry out of their way because they don't want to get fed to their giant snake.
The people won't like it, but that was the whole... in the first Conan movie, that was the big part of the conflict.
Yeah, the people hate it. They absolutely despise the fact that they're there, but they are so powerful... With Thulsa Doom, that was Thulsa Doom's headquarters, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is one example. Another example is, for example, in X3, Curse of Xanathon, you've got the three great big temples, which are plot points in the adventure: the law, the Temple of Law, the Temple of Neutrality, and the Temple of Chaos.
Yes.
You know, if you update that to a 2E or a 3E thing, then you've got and set it in a particular setting instead of the Mystara, and you set it in, say, the Forgotten Realms. I turned the Chaos Temple into the Temple of Malar, the Beast Lord. These are the Temple of Law turned into the Temple of Torm, and which one was the Storm God? I threw that in as the Temple of Neutrality because it's the Sea God, Sea God, Storm God, because that's exactly what it was.
That's
Temple of the Spooming Nuga.
But that's
Umberly, Temple of Umberly. And it's like these are openly worshipped and highly regarded, all operating in conjunction throughout the city, because you've got, Okay, you've got your guardsmen and your warriors doing the Temple of Torm. You've got all of your sailors and dock workers doing the Spooming Nuga because they have to sail the seas, and if you don't keep Umberlee happy, you don't come home.
Well, that's because
the Beast Lord.
Yeah,
because everything inland is going through the beasts to get there. So you got to keep the beasts off your back, even though they occasionally kidnap people for the wild hunt.
No, that's my point. It's like people put these offerings to these gods because they're trying to keep themselves alive.
Keep them off their bag.
Yeah, but the problem is there's no guarantee. They'll take what they've got and they will kill them anyway if they cross them. They don't care.
This is the one of the things that Christianity, one God religions have a problem with pantheons because the people back then based the gods' personalities on them.
Yes, agree.
Yeah.
So that's why
that's always the way it is.
Yeah.
And when some people regard the gods of war as noble and just things for fighting the good fight and being great warriors. Others are, the war's good for nothing. That's what it is, and it's the slaughter and destruction and depravity of it. It all depends on the extremes of application and whose side of receiving or giving you're on.
Well,
that's for a lot of different pantheons.
Right. Guys, can I please talk? You guys are going back and forth so fast I'm not getting my shots in here. Okay. My whole thing is that I agree with that point. I mean, using my own interpretation of Mystara, that's why I have the goddess Valerius, who is love and battle and swordsmanship, and then her completely out of control twin sister Vanya, who is just about war, death, and destruction. And then you add Odin on top of that, who is a war god also, but also is like, look, Vanya, you are way too out of control, and I'm going to stop you. And this is, of course, what she wants, because this is where the struggle between those three actually, come from. Because Vanya is all about starting wars everywhere, so everybody dies. And of course that keeps the evil gods of death happy because people are dying. And there's, of course, the suffering that goes along with it. And the thing is, Valerius, her sister, is basically trying to blunt her advances, to keep the world from falling into chaos, while Odin opposes her openly, saying, "No, I want this. This is going to be my purview because obviously you want war for its own sake. War is only to be, at least in Odin's view, war is only to be used as a means to an end. It's supposed to be an option. It is not supposed to be something that continues on and on and on until everybody is dead. That's not how this works. Vanya is a young god, and of course her power has got control of her, and Valerius is like, oh boy, she's at it again. I need to stop this. She regretfully has to oppose her sister openly sometimes, but most of the time she works behind the scenes to keep things from completely exploding. But
interesting.
Yeah, that's basically what I came up with. That's my take on it. With some evil faiths, they are so vicious and destructive in whatever fashion it is. It could be ordered like, a lawful evil one, a neutral evil one where they're out for their own interest but serving their god as they're doing it, and the chaotic evil ones who are just, doing whatever to whomever.
Those are the ones you kick to the curb and kick out.
That's why some of them get prescribed. Because they will just basically just bleed an entire area dry until nobody is alive.
My opinion is,
it's like the difference between Kelemvor, the god of the dead, and Baal, lord of murder.
Yes, I agree. I have the same thing in my game. I have Thanatos, who is the god of the dead, who is the judge of souls, and then there is the god of the undeath, who is who's basically trying to turn all of their worshippers into witches, and and that's another thing. Undeath is almost an universal abomination among most societies, so they get prescribed. Their stuff gets driven underground. That's what they have. Their places in cities and in towns.
I mean,
but
even
they have fronts for them. Go ahead.
Even necromancers can be part of a town in certain circumstances. See, my take is the evil god walks around. The evil church is out front, in the open, depending on how strong the good or neutral churches are in town. Basically, they're suffer. If they're weak, the evil gods are going to walk around like in Conan, the snake gods. Because,
openly. Yeah.
Because the good temples are weak. If they were strong, I mean, you couldn't get away with something like this in Waterdeep.
No. But Waterdeep is big enough, and they have enough gods are represented there that there's a balance. Yeah,
but is there really a balance? I mean, do you really have evil temples in Waterdeep? I haven't seen them.
Not open ones, no. I think there are only like one or two that are actually open. Like I think there is an actual Temple of Umberlee there, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. What's open and right out there, right out front.
Yeah, there are a couple, but there aren't many. And go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
But I've also seen like villages and cities where good temples allow the evil temples to be here because it's the old Michael Corleone, keep your friends close but your enemies closer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can keep an eye on them.
You have to keep an eye on them.
Yep.
If they're out in the open, you can see what they're doing and, put a cap on, what has to be present, because we already know you can't just win the war and have everything good, light and sunshine. The gods won't let that happen.
No. There always has to be a balance.
Humanity won't let that happen.
There are plenty of people who have the wonderful idea of a utopia, but a utopia is utterly boring. I think Heinlein covered that in one of his books. I thought it was hilarious. But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There has to be a balance, and there, unfortunately, with D&D being what it is, there tends to be more good deities than evil ones, but the evil ones have more power. Right. That's kind of how that works. It's sort of like the Jedi and the Sith. The Sith have technically more power because they are corrupted by it, and the Jedi are the ones who, use their power only when they must, and more often than not, they only use it in more subtle ways. They only do the big thing when the big thing must be done. You know what I'm saying? So, in D&D, it's like the way I've looked at it is that, when it comes to the God of Assassins, they're going to be in the background. They are not going to be out in the open because they profit a lot more in a lot more ways by being hidden. There are going to be a few of them out in the open, like the Sea God, who is chaotic evil because by their very nature, they're more chaos than evil, but they are completely uncaring and actually take amusement when sailors go out in a storm and the ship gets sunk. Because in the end, what they end up being or what they end up having goes to them. So, because you have storm gods and things like that, and in the end, nature is neutral, but some aspects of nature are inherently, what's the word I want to use? Not uncaring, that's too kind, but, there's some aspects of nature that are just mean, for lack of a better word. So, in the way I look at it is that, in larger cities, because you have more gods represented in those cities, if you are running pantheistic campaign, and most DMs do, I don't have a problem with that. Using Full-On's Curse of Xanathon example, the thing is with D&D, they have law, neutrality, and chaos. They tried to sublimate good neutrality and evil underneath law and neutrality and chaos. They included that in those. So, but the problem is that too many DMs just basically took law for being good and chaos for being evil. And that's just how it was.
That's why I like the three alignment system, because there's a lot of play in there that the GM can take advantage of.
True. And the problem is that a lot of people weren't. They just said basically, okay, law is good, chaos is bad, and there were no.
It's easy.
Never the twain. Yeah, exactly. Never the twain shall meet. And that's one of the reasons why once I started playing first edition, I'm like, oh, they actually took this and actually made, instead of making it 3, they made it 9. And it made more sense to me, And, I mean, it just put things out in the open and gave you the concepts for you to understand.
I think Hyperborea has the 5 alignment system. They just eliminated the 2 neutrals.
Right. And the other thing is that one of the things that CM Beta actually did right was his alignment system. He didn't say law, good, evil, chaos, whatever. He actually used other words for it, and he actually made a better description of it. Because when I started first playing, oh God, what's the first game I played? I think it was the fantasy RPG actually, and they explained those character alignments, but use different words. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of good. Oh, that's neutral evil. Oh, I get this. I see where he's going.
Yeah, instead of law and chaos.
Diabolic, anarchic, things like that.
Right, exactly.
Well, in Hyperborea, when they explain it like there's good and evil, but on the other side, instead of law and chaos, you have civilized, barbaric.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that, to me, okay, I can work with that.
Yeah, it's just a better way of describing it.
Exactly.
And it actually leads you to understanding the concepts a little better, even though they're using different words to describe what has already gone before.
Well, it's just a more defined way of doing it.
Right, and which is all right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but anyway. So, folks, you want to continue the conversation, send us an email, for gosh sake. I mean, we're chomping at the bit here.
Yep.
And that would be thacoshammer@gmail.com.
Just understand you're opening a can of worms, because
that's right.
Because what's usually the biggest topic about D&D that gets people into arguments? Alignment.
Yeah, and you know what? The more emails like this, the more you guys are going to see an all-email show.
Yeah, just every 6 or 7 shows, yes.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, what's our number so they can call us and harass us?
Area code 405-806-0555.
Fantastic. Okay, let's close this splat book and be on our way back to the game table. Brian, say goodbye.
And just remember, folks, that inn over there that charges really ridiculous prices for really crappy service, that might be a front for one of the evil god temples. Just remember that.
Ooh. Full on, you want to say goodbye?
There is nothing wrong with the god of mercantile until you push it to the level of the god of greed. So, purvey the inn if you so choose. Just watch out for the secret stuff in the basement underneath.
Usually it's giant rats anyway. But they may have their own temple. You never know. So this is DM Glenn saying, until we see you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye.
Hey, I don't know why they have spider silk sheets.
Hey.
Ooh. Oh. Yeah, and why those spider silk sheets all of a sudden can wrap around you and cocoon you, and then all of a sudden you're in the cellar.
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.